My brother Donald, well, I'm the middle child of 5. I have had 2 older brothers, a younger brother and a younger sister. Bob, one older than me, died in 1992 of an aneurysm. He was 47. My oldest brother John died in 1998 of cancer, but he had had an aneurysm, and he was 57. Donald was 67 when he died. My sister Claudia is the baby of the family. She'll be 67 in 2 years. I'll be 77 in 5 years. You think we're not worried? Donald was always a loving and sensitive boy, always willing to do anything for anybody and not expecting anything in return. He loved his wife Paula, his 2 children Lisa and Steve, and his grandchildren. He was always a jokester. We passed around a rubber chicken for about 10 years. We actually went through 2 chickens because the head fell off. You could find it in the most unexpected places and on the most unexpected time. When Donald died, no one could find the chicken. 2 weeks ago, my sister-in-law said, as she was packing to move out of the house, she found the chicken in Donald's chair. I haven't got the chicken yet. For my 50th anniversary in religious life, which was in August of 2015, there was Greek Fest going on, there was Pierogi Fest going on, so he designated my event Nun Fest. And trust me, a good time was had by all. When Donald was admitted to the emergency room, the young nurse taking care of him he said to the nurse, "My sister works here." She said, "Oh, is he a nurse?" He said, "No, she works for God. She's a nun." December 20th, 2015 was the worst of days, and it was the best of days. It was the Sunday before Christmas. The house was cleaned. The tree was decorated. We were having the bishop and our young sisters over for pizza on Monday night, so I was making hot sausage dip and my favorite sugar cookies. My cell phone rang and Donald's number came up. It was my sister-in-law, Paula. She said Donald had collapsed at home and she had called 911 and they were taking him to the hospital. She said she was sure it was nothing serious and that I didn't need to come. But Sister Alina insisted that we go and that the cookies could wait. We arrived at the hospital in Crown Point. Donald was awake, alert, and joking, and he looked fine. The young doctor said that he wasn't sure what was going on, but they would probably keep him overnight. I remember looking at this doctor saying, 2 of our brothers had aneurysms. And this started everything. A portable chest x-ray was done, and then he was sent to CAT scan. And this began the worst of days. Donald dissected while he was in the CAT scan. He was still awake and talking. I asked him if he wanted to be anointed, and he said yes. And Donald was not a churchgoer. So we called Father Tony. He came, he gave him the sacrament of the sick and general absolution. The doctor told Donald that his condition was very grave and asked Donald what he wanted done. And Donald said he wanted to live. The vascular surgeon was notified. Donald gave Paula the combination to the safe where all the important papers were kept and told her to notify NIPSCO, where he had just retired in August after 44 years and had done some consulting project so that she could get his paycheck. His breathing became very labored and he was intubated. They wheeled him off to surgery. We told him we loved him and that we would see him soon. Many phone calls were made to family and friends. We asked for prayers and said many of them ourselves. After about an hour, I looked up and the surgeon was coming out, and I remember saying, "This is not good." It wasn't. Donald had died before they even opened him. As we sat trying to grasp what happened, the VP of nursing came out and said that he was an organ donor. I said I would make the ask. So I asked Paula and the children what they wanted. As I asked the question, we all stopped for a moment. Donald had had kidney stones and other kidney problems, so they probably couldn't use his kidneys. They probably were not able to use much other because of the aneurysm had destroyed everything. It was ascending and descending. He liked his beer, so it's probably his liver was out. But Paula said yes, they could use anything because that's what Donald wanted. So that made this the best of days. Donald's last act of kindness, to give of himself to help someone else. Perhaps his cornea could be used to help someone see better, his skin to be helped a burn patient recover through grafting, and his bone to help repair long bone injury. At all our Franciscan hospitals, we pray Brahms' lullaby when a baby's born. And this started many years ago when one of our night nurses said, "The only thing we hear at night is a code blue, which means someone's dying. Can't we hear something to celebrate life?" But in Crown Point, we also play Amazing Grace when we have an organ donor. So now every time I hear that played, I think of my brother Donald and thank him for his last act of kindness and generosity, of giving himself to help someone else. And along with Stowe, I truly believe that anybody that's willing to be an organ donor gives selflessly of themselves to help others. And I've been with the sisters longer than most of you have been alive.